The highly anticipated Assetto Corsa Evo has just been released in the form of early access. However, the community seems divided so far as the reviews on Steam are mixed. There are numerous reasons why people are disappointed with the early access of Assetto Corsa Evo, but it's important to note that that is exactly what it is. It is an early access version of this game. It is not the full release, but to understand the full story of this, we have to start from the beginning. It's January 16th. Everyone is excitedly waiting to boot up Assetto Corsa Evo for early access, except for Australians who have to wait to the 17th. Finally, there it is. A fun sim racing game. Time to boot it up. Hang on a minute, where's all the content? Despite being early access, Assetto Corsa Evo didn't include all the cars and features that they had promised to include.
There was more stuff missing than there should have been.
This was most likely down to a server issue which was soon rectified by Kunos themselves, albeit a band-aid fix, which still left several features unavailable to play. But how does the game drive? How does the force feedback feel? Players jump into the game with the very limited amount of features and options they have to use. Well, it's either going to be practice or single player quick race. The players jump into the game, the force feedback is good. The car handling models are pretty natural. All must be going well then, right? You see, I've clicked on the single player quick race and I've experienced the AI. 30 plus drivers. That's pretty good, but can your PC handle that? Can you really take on that many cars? The answer is no. The problem is Assetto Corsa Evo is extremely unoptimized. You see, the practice mode is fine as it only includes you on the track, but as soon as you add AI and a large amount of cars to the track, your PC goes.
I can see the potential in it. It looks like it could be really good, but for now it just doesn't seem very well optimized.
Below 40 FPS and constant, quite big stutters, so obviously some optimization needed there.
What's that? You want to drive in the rain? Well, guess what? But in reality, the rain is actually pretty good. Most players feel satisfied with the weather and day and night cycles of the game. Well, those who have a strong enough PC to actually drive in the rain, that is. So apart from that, it's fun, right? The game's fun to race against the AI. You see, the AI didn't just stop there. They had other plans.
Oh, mate, come on. Mate!
Ah! Ah! What?
My word, the AI, they're not very good.
Nah, you weren't thinking about racing us, were you? You see, the AI does not care about your feelings. It doesn't even acknowledge that you exist. If you are driving on the racing line, you are now the racing line. They will literally drive through you. Corner cut turn 1? Good idea. Simply put, the AI was bad. It was very undercooked. The AI and poor optimizations have overshadowed what would otherwise be a good foundation for Assetto Corsa Evo in early access. Now, the whole point of early access is to get good feedback from the players, but the issue is, it's going to be difficult to keep players playing if there's not much to do on the game, as they can't earn any money yet, they can't customize any cars yet, and there's no multiplayer available. Although that wasn't said to be included in the first release of early access, it's something that would have kept players coming back. Assetto Corsa Evo also has the added pressure of being the successor to the original Assetto Corsa and Assetto Corsa Competizione. The pressure doesn't end there either. Due to a lot of recent releases not meeting expectations in the sim racing game genre, a lot of people want to jump ship onto a game that was looking very promising. Please, you're not going to make me go back and play that thing. But at the moment, we are very early on the timeline for when this game is going to be built into what looks like a full game. No doubt, all these things such as optimizations, the AI, adding more tracks and cars will be added to the game at a later stage. There's no doubt of that. But a lot of people are currently disappointed that they didn't start off with something more solid and more content to play, such as multiplayer and their free roam options. So the question is, has Assetto Corsa released their game too early and extinguished their own hype and build up for what this game is going to be? If this game was released at a later date but included things such as multiplayer, free roam, and all these other cool features, more cars and tracks, would that be more explosive in popularity for the game versus releasing at the date that they have now and people forgetting about the game until those features come out? It's also important to note that even though it is early access, you're still paying for this. You're still paying $40 or 20% discounted at least until the end of January. As of right now, players have purchased the game with these poor optimizations and the bad AI that you can't really race at all. So you're paying for a game right now that all you can do is hot lap in until the game becomes updated and more complete. I really do have high hopes for this game. I see it being as popular, if not more popular, than Assetto Corsa 1 was. But there's also a cloud that hangs over the modding aspect of this game. In particular, there's always going to be an online part of this game that's enabled. So knowing how much modding support is going to be added to this game in the future remains to be seen, but we can only hope that it will improve upon the original Assetto Corsa, because that's what made the original Assetto Corsa so popular. So why should you still consider purchasing AC Evo at this point in time? Well, at the moment it's 20% off, so you're getting a better deal now than you would after January, and that way you would see it as an investment, as all the content will eventually be built onto this game in the future. They've made big strides in the way that the suspension works with the car.
I feel like they've enhanced the suspension behavior quite a lot compared to ACC. I think it's very good.
I feel like the physics is a lot better than a lot of other comparable titles out there. For example, in Automobilista 2, you can lose the car from oversteer really easily, and it's very hard to predict when you're going to lose it and go past the point of no return. But in AC Evo, that is a lot more forgiving. You can very much sit on the edge of grip when it comes to oversteer. It might actually be too forgiving because you can make very, very big mistakes and still redeem yourself somehow. When it comes to understeer, however, I felt that it was a bit hard to predict that you're going to get understeer heading into the corner. I feel like there's some areas that they can still improve on in that aspect. But another area where the early access does struggle a bit is the UI. The UI is very primitive, and it's also a bit cluttered in some areas. When you're going to select the car, it shows the same car but with all the different liveries instead of just grouping them all together for the same car. There's also a fair few bugs getting around that players have posted online, but I'm not going to weigh in too much into that because it's an early access, and that is to be expected, as all games would have bugs this early into its life cycle. When you're driving inside the cars, I feel like the interior is well done. I think there's plenty of detail there, but another limitation of this game is, as of right now, there's no visible damage, so that if you crash into something, you will receive the damage in performance, but you won't receive the actual visible element of what that damage looks like to the car. As of right now, the dealership is still locked and the customization is still locked. If you are interested in buying this game, I think maybe the best course of action is to buy it now while it is 20% cheaper, and then sit on it and wait for all these features to be enabled, and once it goes in online mode, then that's when we can expect to be able to start playing this game and have a little bit more content than to either just doing hot lapping or racing against AI that let's put it lightly, it is not a fun experience right now, racing against the AI. If we take a look to the long term and the roadmap that they have provided, I'm very much looking forward to the free roam and the multiplayer. There is a lot of people counting on AC Evo to be a good game. When you see people who don't normally play all these other simulator games, like all the F1 YouTubers coming out of the woodwork to try out AC Evo on early access, that's how you know that a lot of people want this game to be good. So I think we just have to sit and wait, and hopefully Kunos does their thing, which they've done in the past with AC1 and ACC. Both of these games also released in a rough state, so I think it's just their method of getting the studio to head down this development path where they can get feedback and then build upon that. And by mid-year, I think this game will be a lot more complete than what it is now. And by the end of the year, this could be a sim racing title that has one of the largest player bases. Well, that's going to wrap up this video. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are we being too critical on a game that's in early release? Or are players justified in being disappointed because they've spent a large amount of money on a small amount of content at this point in time? Anyways, that's going to be it for now. I'll see you all in a brand new one.